Hey, True Believers, Chris Mack coming at you with another amazing weekend figure review. Today we are going over the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, the Grim Knight from the Dark Knight Metal and the Batman Who Laughs comic series. And I'm so excited to finally have this figure in my collection. When McFarlane announced that they were releasing this figure, I just about flipped my lid with excitement. So I'm finally glad that I was able to get one. Speaking of which, if you guys do want to pick one up at the time of this recording, it is not really available online. I was looking on Dorkside Toys. It is sold out, but they are starting to come out in Walmarts. But before you do go there, please first and foremost check with your local comic shop and see if they can get it ordered for you. If not, then at least you have another alternate route at this time. But I do want to give a shout out to my buddy Sean. We're both part of a local toy chat. And he was shopping through Walmart doing a toy hunt, and he found this and said, hey man, you want one of these? And I said, please, 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 please. So thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate you, brother. And as you can see here, this Batman comes with so many cool looking accessories, which we'll get to in a minute. But first, let's look at the box. You know, you got the DC Multiverse. Love that logo. The Grim Knight. Come around this side, it's just the plastic. Grim Knight there. McFarlane Toys there. Multiverse there. Come around this way, we get a really cool comic cover here. This is from the Batman Who Laughs comic series, which this has to have been a variant because I do not have that one. And I think it's a play on the Jim Lee cover from the Hush series. Except here, instead of him just standing on a normal gargoyle, it's the Batman Who Laughs that's the gargoyle. So that's kind of a cool little play. And then you get the figures from the line that you need. I'll get a close-up so you can check it out, see which ones you want to get. Come around this side, and one thing I really appreciate here is how they tell you what figure it is. So if you're hunting and all of them are lined up on the peg, at least you know which figure you're getting instead of having to look at the front. So speaking of the front, we're back again. Here on the top, nothing really super interesting there. Bottom, legal, you know, who cares? But what we do care about is the Grim Knight a cool figure or not. So let's get Mr. Wayne here out of his packaging and get a closer look at this absolutely gorgeous looking action figure. And here's the Grim Knight out of his packaging and just looks absolutely gorgeous. I remember when I started reading the Batman Who Laughs and I saw this Batman, I was like, man, do I want to know more about him? And when we get the one shot, oh man, that's an interesting, intense read. And when I started seeing that McFarlane was going to start releasing the Dark Multiverse Batman, I was like, oh boy, I hope that they do the Grim Knight. And boom, here he is. Just yes. I saw this and I was like, oh, I've got to get my hands on this. So I'm so glad that I was able to finally hunt one down. So if you guys see one, pick them up because these still are going like hotcakes. And it's just beautifully sculpted, which we will go over in a minute, but we just had to sit here and just gush over how well detailed McFarlane Toys went out of their way to just make this Batman look absolutely gorgeous. So there are some things to love, there are some things to hate, just like with every figure. So let's get him off the stand and get a closer look at this Bruce Wayne. Now some backstory on the Grim Knight. His first appearance is the Batman Who Laughs #1 from February 2019. And they kind of give you a brief description to kind of get an idea of who this guy is. Now, we've done a review on it. I'll make sure to leave a little button up here. And then after the run kind of gets towards the end, Scott Snyder threw in a one-shot, which is called the Batman Who Laughs, the Grim Knight #1, where we get his origins. And it is an intense read. I don't want to go all the way into it. We did a review on it, so I'll make sure to leave a button somewhere along this review where you guys can click on it because, man, it's definitely one that you want to read. Because seeing Batman in like a Frank Castle Punisher style, you're just kind of like, wow. Anyway, great reads. And now with that said, with this cool character, let's check out the accessories. So first, I was finally able to very carefully get the card out. And that artwork for this is gorgeous. I think this was the variant cover for the Grim Knight #1. I have a different variant, which I think is a lot nicer, but still, this is a very gorgeous rendition, especially him standing on a Batman Who Laughs gargoyle. And then on the back, you kind of get a read-up, so I'll make sure to throw it where you guys can pause it and read that at your discretion. And then, of course, just like with every other Batman, he comes with a stand, and I just love that little DC logo on there. Now, when you're getting it out, be careful. Trying to use an X-Acto knife, kind of caught that. And I wish with the boxes that they would be a lot more careful. So if you can see, I'll throw the box up here, and you can see just how your hand has no purchase to really move around in there with an X-Acto knife. It is very frustrating. Now, the other thing that he comes with that you have to cut out of that flipping box is this backpack, and I love it. It kind of reminds me, once you put it on his back, it kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones. It reminds me of the Iron Throne? Yeah, but I just love the attention to detail to each gun and just how they all look like they're almost welded on there. My only gripe with it, and see how, oh, look how they all go on both sides, not either side's flat. Very beautiful gunmetal gray. Anyway, back to my beef, is see how they're all tied? I wish that you could take these guns out and use them and just find a way where you can like snap them back on. That would have been absolutely cool. But nonetheless, he has a little port here, so you grab him, hole, and it fits in there very nicely. Now, with that said, let's look at the guns that he does come with. Now, I'm going to do my best to kind of describe them. I'm not super into what guns are called, so if you guys know the technical names for me, these let me know, because I'd always like to learn. So we get kind of a rocket launcher here. Again, that same very nice gunmetal gray, very nice texture and detail. I like that the barrels are looking the way they should. Same with the stock, and this thing. I'm drawing a blank. Where the thing he shoots out. I can't remember what it's called. You guys can make fun of me down in the comments. But nonetheless, that's a really nice looking gun. Love all the little, where the screws or indents are. Very good stuff there. This I thought at first was an SMG. I am not 100% sure. I love how that clip hangs all the way out like that, the banana clip. But let me know what type of gun this is. I don't think it's a SMG, but it's a small minigun nonetheless. And I like that it has a little handle there. I kind of wish, like how when they released the Flash, how they gave him all those lightning things. I wish we could start getting, holes in here so you can start putting little gun effects and whatnot instead of always having to rely on Photoshop. And then, sight looks good. And then stock here is missing, which, okay, that's cool. And the same gorgeous gunmetal gray. But I wish there was a way you could attach these onto here. The only thing I've been able to do is just kind of sneak it in there like so. So at least it looks like you got a full arsenal going on. Now, with that said, those are the accessories that he comes with. Now let's look at the figure's paint apps. Get that out of here. As you can see, the face is very well sculpted. I love with the Batman figure how they always make sure to add a little bit of emotion into the cowl, so it looks like he's scowling. Sure, we'll go with that word. I like the little horns, how they're tiny, but they zoom in to kind of give it that very mean, tough look. I like because he's the Grim Knight. He's Mr. Grumpy Pants. So the face here looks really nice. And I like that they don't throw a whole lot of extra paint on there. I like how it actually interacts naturally with the light. The only thing that's a little off-putting for me personally, and I noticed it when I first got out of the box, is his face here is a little elongated. That's not something I'm used to seeing on a Batman. So just like, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, the nose here looks good. The rest of the head looks nice. I like that they added the, I believe this is called a balaclava. I think that's what it's called, where you can pull it up over your nose and all that stuff. If I'm wrong, let me know, but very nice texture in there. All the ripples where they're supposed to be. This here, the gun bandolier, or utility belt, whatever you want to call it, it's soft plastic, so it can kind of move on him just a little bit. But I like how it has all these nifty little gadgets on it to show, the type of survivalist that Batman is. Again, like here you get these guns. It would have been so nice if you could take those guns out like you can with the Hasbro Snake Eyes. That would have been a nice addition. Or have like a knife or something. But I mean, look at all these guns that you can't pull out. It's like a tease. And the same thing on his hips. He has these knives. You're like, oh, come on. I want to play with all these accessories and put them in his hands and get these cool additions. Anyway, back to the figure. I like the bat symbol. Very nicely done. I hate that this kind of covers it, but again, he's a survivalist, and you can see that his chest, I like how it has that sort of Kevlar look to it, so good stuff there. Like the blue, again, that Kevlar look on the arm. Love the gauntlets with the bat wings. I never can remember what these are called, so I just call them bat wings. But you can see that that's going to rip you in the face. I like the paramilitary pants. Very nice and rugged. Very good stuff. Same thing on the back. I mean, look at all these things you could play with and you can't. And like has all the straps for the legs and whatnot. I kind of wish they would have made these loose again like Snake Eyes, because that was kind of a cool addition where you can take them on and off. And I just love the ripples in the pants. I love, absolutely love these knee pads. They get that more silver. Oh, my focus went away. Why'd you go away, focus? Stop it. And then they have the little bat emblems on there. That was a very nice addition. I think those are just a really great addition there. Just love it. And then the boots. Kind of your standard paramilitary boots. And of course they have the little bat wings just like on his gloves. That's really good stuff. And you can see the laces. So overall, the sculpt on this thing is very, very beautiful. Accessory-wise, I mean, I'm probably being a little greedy, but I wish you could do more and add stuff on, like the guns. You know, I wish you could kind of hook this onto his belt or something like that. That would have been a very nice addition, but nonetheless, great figure. Articulation-wise, he's very posable. There are a couple of gripes, but let's go through what's great about this figure first and foremost. So for his head, he can look down that much, and even though he's on a peg, getting him to look up is a little challenging. I've tried warming him up, and that's about it. Even if I try to mess with the way it knocks back and forth, you still can't really get it to look up, so it's like, darn. But you know, you can kind of get some play in the head there. That way that much. That way that much. Arm, 360. Out that way. And of course, if you twist it, great stuff there. And then it's like a ratchet joint, I believe, in the elbows, but you get that double jointed elbow action, so for when he holds guns. So thank you for that, McFarlane. And of course his wrist spin 360. And just like with all these McFarlane toys, I wish they would get away from these ball joints. They are a pain in the butt, because if you get them lined up right, they can be your best friend, so you can get the kind of the up and down action, but they spin independently of the wrist. So if that, get a focus so you guys don't think I'm just lying to you. If this thing gets twisted, you have to play around to get that lined up again. So that's the only thing about these ball joints that I hate. I mean, it adds for some posability, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that's my biggest beef with them. You can twist that much that way, that much that way. Ab crunch, pretty good down, very well back, so cool with me. Legs can go out that much, kick out that much, and kick out about that far back. And again, he's like on that ratchet on his joint, so double jointed knees. Yes, thank you. Love it. Feet can go up that much, feet go down that much. I feel like Homer. Bed go up, bed go down. And then he has wonderful ankle pivots, so very much yes. And then of course the fancy little toe things, and I like, again, how it's starting to look more natural instead of like clown shoey. See how when you put it down, it's flush, so you don't have to worry about looking too silly. So, oh, I almost forgot the bad. So as you can see, overall, he's pretty flexible. Great stuff, but, oh, and he does have the upper, see how I started getting excited and I forget, upper bicep swivel, so good stuff there. But again, no boot cut, no thigh cut. Come on, what you doing, McFarlane? Stop it. So if we would have had that, we could have added some really great posability there. So I wish, and I hope that he learns from that in the future, that we get those cuts right there, because it really adds, but not being able to twist them like that, it just makes some poses unnatural. So overall, I'll give a 6.5 out of 10 on the articulation, because nonetheless, even though we weren't given those, it's still a very bendy dude. Now here's the Grim Knight next to his fellow evil Batman. And as you can see, they all look so great together. Now because they're all McFarlane, they're all standing at 7 inches, so they scale very well. But nonetheless, it's just so great to have tangible versions of these Batmen. Now I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, McFarlane's releasing too many Batman. but he's my number one guy. I've been collecting Batman since I was 6 years old. So anytime I get a new Batman figure, I get that, going to Toys R Us feeling every single time, because that's just how it is. And these are no exception. These are beautifully well rendered figures. And they're all standing about 7 inches, I said, except for the Murder Machine, which I think somewhere around 8. And I can't wait until they release the Drowned in January 2021, because that will fill out the lineup of all the Batman that this guy recruits. So what do y'all think of the McFarlane releasing this Dark Multiverse Batman? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Overall, this is an absolutely beautiful figure, guys. Very well articulated. I wish that McFarlane and the sculptors would figure out that we do want boot cuts and upper thigh cuts, because if you're doing a kneeling pose like that, that would really come in handy, being able to kind of twist things around. So I hope that later down the line they will implement that. I don't know why they didn't take a page from the Marvel Legends line, because having those cuts are super, super helpful. The only other things, I wish there was weapon storage, because, he's got these 2 guns. I wish that there was a way you could snap them on. And then, he has the little pistols and stuff. I wish you could take those out. That would be so cool. Kind of like how with the Hasbro Snake Eyes, how you're able to add and swap stuff. That would have been a cool feature. But I'm not going to damn it too much, because I wanted a Grim Knight figure. And guys, we got an absolutely beautiful rendition of it with this character. Now, if you've enjoyed what you've seen on this figure, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if they can get one in stock for you. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little Grim Knight bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your feedback down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I will make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So if you wouldn't mind, stand by. Photo slideshow coming up next. And with that said, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.